Hey y'all, it's Megan. Welcome back to the channel. Glad y'all are here today. Come spend a little time with us. We're gonna be making some bacon today, and we want to show y'all exactly how we do this.
So there's several methods of making bacon. And the way we choose to do it is we'll put down a piece of brown butcher paper, and then we're gonna make us up a mixture here. So for me, when I make bacon, y'all, we have played with this recipe, and so we've kind of customized it to the way we like it. It can totally be done however you want to do it, and up to your taste. We've noticed that for a long time there, our bacon was a little bit on the salty side. So what we're using is regular, non-iodized white salt.
It's not curing salt or anything, it's just plain salt.
Plain salt, non-iodized salt. And then brown sugar. So you've seen, I just put, let's see, what is this? 2 cups of plain salt in there. All right, I'm gonna get me 2 cups of brown sugar. So that right there at this moment is a 50-50 ratio. And this is how we used to do our bacon, but with this ratio here, in our opinion, it was just a little bit on the salty side and wasn't quite sweet enough. So I started adding in another cup of brown sugar. And yeah, right there we go. And then I'll mix it all up real good. Get all those, your little clumps and everything mashed out of it. Then we're going to add in some black pepper. There is no specific measurement of black pepper. This is basically here to add a little bit of flavor, but mainly all is to keep the bugs and stuff out of it. Now, I know that does sound kind of nasty, keeping the bugs out of it, but we are in an open building here. This used to be a tobacco pack house, and we have pretty much converted it into a meat house. And you know, we're in wintertime right now, so it's cold outside. So inside this building is basically like a big refrigerator. But, you know, it is pretty tight for the most part, where rodents and stuff like that can't get in. But still, you know, of course, there's not going to be many insects or anything like that out this time of year anyways. But that's what the pepper's in there for, and it does add some flavor. So what I'm going to do, sprinkle me a little bit out on that brown paper. Then I'll grab my piece of meat. So this here is a piece of pork belly. At least I guess that's what you would call it. And you can see your strips right there from your bacon. You can see that strip. That looks just like pretty much like a piece of bacon. You see that lean right down through the middle there? After I've got it laying there, we're just going to sprinkle our mixture over this. You want to make sure you get it all around the edges. Now, I just kind of do this by sight as to how much of this mixture to put on my bacon. I just want to make sure it's covered. Like, I want good coverage on this meat. And the more sugar and stuff like that you get on it, the more it's going to soak up, the more flavor your bacon will have. So now, it's laying there like that. That salt's going to do the curing process. The sugar's going to be there for the sweetness. Pepper's there just to add a little bit of flavor. And I'm going to wrap it up. So we're going to fold that over. You know, you could use a piece of tape on this if you wanted to. We don't have no tape up here. So we're going to wrap it up with string to hold this paper on. Now, I have seen people do this in a plastic tub and set it in the refrigerator. I mean, several different methods you can do to this. This is just how we choose to do it.
Well, we've done a few other ways too, and this was our favorite.
This has been our favorite.
Yeah.
It would really help just to have a piece of tape. But, I mean, it don't have to be much to it. Just
It ain't got to be beautiful. It's just got to hold it together.
Yeah, we ain't wrapping Christmas presents. That's all I need. That right there. All right, bring it over here. So I'm gonna take me a pen, and just so I'll know, I'm gonna write today's date on here. So 12/6. Those pieces right there, that's 2 more pieces of bacon that we done last weekend. So what we have found is to leave this laying curing for 10 days. It'll lay right there just like that for 10 days. If you go much longer than that, it really takes up the salt really good and it gets extremely salty. So we have let them go for 2 weeks before, but I don't like to because it gets really salty in that period of time. So it'll stay there for 10 days. And then we'll be back, open everything back up, wash it off, and it'll go in the smoker. And so
And that's where I take over.
That's right.
I know we're going to get some questions on this. What's back here?
Well, actually, I can go ahead and show y'all what we're going to do with that because I do have a hog jaw over there we got to do. This is a hog jaw, and both of these are middling meat.
Fatback.
Yeah, fatback, which is almost the same cut as that bacon. So this was up higher on the hog. The bacon pieces actually come off of this bottom part down here, and that's where you have more of that lean meat. Up here is a lot more fatty meat, so we don't turn that into bacon. So we turn that into fatback.
And that's a hog jaw laying there.
And that's a hog jaw. That one's actually got brown sugar on it. That's why it looks sort of wet around it. I've thrown some brown sugar on this one.
I like them that way.
And so when you have that brown sugar on there, it sort of tends to make it gooey, I guess you would say. Not gooey.
The sugar melts.
Yeah, the sugar melts. There you go.
And these right here are some of our country hams that are taking salt right now.
Yeah, so we've got one more piece of bacon to do. You obviously have 2 pieces of bacon on a hog. You got one on each side.
And we usually make bacon out of all 6 pigs.
We do. We eat a lot of bacon.
And I'm telling you, once you go to this, it's hard to go back.
Yeah, once you eat homegrown bacon, store-bought bacon ain't even fit to eat. Which is honestly that way with a lot of stuff. I might have to make up just a little bit more.
Maybe it'll be enough.
Well, I don't know. I believe it's going to be perfect.
And the bacon, I feel like you don't have to get too carried away with as far as the curing process goes. It's not like the ham. The ham, you really got to be particular with how you do things.
Yeah, because the way we cure this bacon, it's not getting cured to sit out.
Right.
It's actually, once we're done with it, it's just the curing process it's going through is basically for flavor.
Yeah.
For the most part.
Yeah. I got you a string.
Well, you wouldn't want me wrapping your Christmas presents, would you?
I might have got it too long.
Well, it'll be all right. Y'all, meat's been cured in this building right here since before my daddy was born. This building right here has had, I would love to know how many hams have been cured in this building right here.
I was going to say, I'll write the date and stuff on this while you're getting that.
Be careful with that pen, it'll poke through it.
Okay.
Well, just be careful with it all, because I'm not very good at wrapping. So I'm going to lay my other hog jaw right here. I'm going to go ahead and put me a salt and pepper mixture down.
And hog jaw is what you eat for New Year's. It's the tradition around here anyway.
So I'm going to flip it upside down first with the skin side up. Rub me a good layer of salt on the back side there. Can we slide those down just a little?
This one's on the, let me do it this way.
And then we're going to leave it laying with the skin side down. And we're going to put our salt and pepper mixture all over this thing. You want it covered from head to toe.
And these will sit for what, a month?
They can set up to a month, but a lot of times we'll cut them in about 3 weeks. They at least need to go 3 weeks in order to take the salt. But I've seen them lay here till springtime.
Yeah.
And still be good. Once they've took salt, I mean, that meat, it will go bad.
Once it starts warming up.
Once it starts warming up, but once it's took salt, it'll lay here from now till spring if it had to. So there's your hog jaw. That's a nice hog jaw.
Yeah.
That come off of I think our biggest pig, which we think it...
Right around 460.
Yeah, it dressed out right around 460 pounds.
Yep. Yeah, I believe that was our biggest one.
You talk about some good eating.
I think hog jaw has got fat back beat all to pieces.
Oh, me too.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Hog jaw is the next best thing next to bacon.
Yep.
And the hog jaw is, of course, for people that may not know, is literally the jaw meat.
Yep.
So.
The flappy part around the neck.
Yeah.
And like I said, that one was done last week. I do have brown sugar on that one, though, and that somewhat sweetens it up. You can taste the difference when you put brown sugar on one versus when you don't. That's another thing that's totally up to you. Once you do it a few times, you figure out what you like.
I like it pretty good with the brown sugar.
I like them both ways.
Yeah.
And we've smoked the hog jaw. We've not smoked them. I mean, y'all, it's not a whole lot of science to it. You just kind of figure out what you like to do and do it.
The key to any kind of curing of any kind of meat is that you've got plenty of salt. The rest is up to you.
And temperature.
Yeah, and
You
the
wouldn't
right
want
temperature.
All right, that's another thing to mention here. You would not want to do this in hot weather. You wouldn't want to do this in the middle of the summer because, especially in this building here, and see, we've got ventilation in this building. It's not like being in a cooler, because in a cooler you would have very humid environment, whereas in this building here, it's
whatever the humidity is outside.
And it's usually low this time of year.
Yeah.
So I think that makes a difference in the curing as well. And if you were doing this in the summertime or even in the springtime when it's warm outside, the meat would not take salt fast enough before it would spoil.
Yeah.
So the outside of your meat would be cured, but the inside would be spoiled, and so you would lose your ham or your middling or your whatever you're trying to cure.
All right, guys, I'm going to take just a minute, and I want to thank today's video sponsor, Backwoods Home Magazine. Now, if you've never heard of this magazine, I encourage you to check it out. If you enjoy the stuff you see here on our channel, you know, there's a little something for everybody. Whether you're new to the game of homesteading or been doing it forever like we have, you can always teach old dog new tricks. And plus, it's fun to read about. So I'm going to show you what you can get here. You can get Backwoods Home, or you can also get the sister magazine, or both. Self-Reliance Magazine. In Backwoods Home Magazine, what you're going to find in here, y'all, gardening, canning, cooking, preparedness, foraging, stuff about livestock. I want to show y'all something that goes right along with today's video. This is in the winter Backwoods Home. Curing pork belly for bacon. This gives you the dry method of curing and the wet brine method. The dry method is what we've shown you today. But I thought that was so cool. I was like, well, that just goes right along with what we talked about today. Well, another thing that I love about Backwoods Home and Self-Reliance is they go with the seasons. So this magazine came out in October. It's October, November, December, because these are quarterly magazines. It's got things that you need to be doing and preparing for winter, or things that you do in the wintertime. And I think that is so awesome. Self-Reliance Magazine, y'all, recommend both of these. What you'll find in Self-Reliance Magazine, gardening, canning, cooking, livestock, preparedness, but a lot of DIY stuff. So when Backwoods Home Magazine reached out to us here, y'all, I couldn't tell them no for what they were going to offer y'all. They're offering 50% off if you go through our link, which I will make sure I have down in the description for you and in the comments. This is an awesome, like, y'all, it's the day before Christmas Eve. Talk about a good last-minute Christmas gift for those people you don't know what to get. I know I'm giving this as a few gifts this year. So get you folks a subscription to both of these, or one or the other. Man, there is so much information in here. It's honestly, it's a killer deal, y'all. I mean, I learned something from every issue, and we've been reading this right here actually for years. Anyways, thank you again, Backwoods Home Magazine, for sponsoring this video. Y'all be sure to check them out. Now back to the bacon. All right, y'all, so here we are about 10 days later. You're going to want to let your bacon sit about 10, 14 days. 14 days is getting a little long for us, but the next thing we need to do, you can see it's kind of drawn a lot of that moisture out. Some of that sugar's melted. So you're going to want to do this part somewhere that you don't care if it gets a little dirty, because it's a little, this part's a little messy. But we're going to unwrap our little Christmas presents here. And this is an old picnic table that's stained with paint and everything else, but we're not going to take this off of that paper and lay it on it or anything. It is a cold, windy morning. So, here is what our starting product it looks like. I'm going to show y'all up close here. So, see there? See there? So, the next thing we're going to want to do, now me and Andy experimented with this for years, y'all, and this is the way we like to do it, but I found if I smoke it with just the way it is with all this stuff still on it, it is way too salty. So, I'm going to scrape most of this off here. I'm just going to scrape it off on the ground because I'm outside. And what I can't scrape off with my knife, I'm actually going to rinse off underwater, which does not hurt anything. But I want to get as much of that extra off as I can. I'm excited because today's going to be the first day I've actually used my new Pit Boss smoker. I did have a Masterbuilt, and it kicked the bucket after a few years because I use it pretty heavy this time of year making this bacon and stuff because we make a lot of bacon, y'all. And I've done it, I've smoked it after I've scraped off the excess and still left some of this other on here, and it was still just too salty for us. So, for our taste anyway, I like to completely rinse all this off. So that's what I'm gonna do now. So I got most of it rinsed off. You can see, I mean, some of these black pepper flakes you just can't get off, but for the most part, I've got that rinsed off. So we're gonna lay that in our smoker. I'm interested to see if I'm gonna have to cut it. I believe it'll lay in there just like that. Perfect. Now we gotta get our other piece done. For the record, something I really love about this Pit Boss is it has this glass screen, so I don't have to keep opening the door and checking out whatever I'm cooking because I'm just nosy and want to see what it looks like. I've just got 2 pieces of bacon today. You usually get 2 slabs like this off of 1 pig, where it's the pork belly. You got 2 sides to that belly there. Unwrap my Christmas present. And we're just gonna scrape, scrape, scrape. All right, let's get this one rinsed off. Second piece is all rinsed off. I stuck my thermometer in that one. see if I can lay it up here. It's a little shorter. There we go. Awesome. That is pretty sweet that I can look and see my thermometer right there. I've got a Bluetooth thermometer, but I've been having some issues with it. I sometimes have to take some steel wool and clean off the Bluetooth part, and I hadn't done that, so I got my regular old thermometer there. This thing's rolling pretty good now, so what I'm gonna do, this is gonna smoke most of the day. I'm looking for an internal temperature of 150 degrees. So that's what I'm waiting on, and I'll keep my eye on this, on the internal temp of my smoker. I want to try to get it up to like 170-ish, which I know is not cold smoked, but that's the way I usually do it. We're going to see how the Pit Boss does. One thing I've already seen, though, that is a downfall, but not terrible, it's nothing bad, is the wood chip box on the bottom. You have to actually take that all the way out to put new wood chips in it. And my other one, I could just open the door, throw some wood chips in there. But this box holds a lot more wood chips than my other smoker did. So maybe I won't have to do that as much. We'll just see. All right, here we are. It's been going for around 3 hours. So I'll give you a quick update here. We're sitting on about, what does that say? Almost 120. We're looking for 150. It's looking good though. So far I've only had to refill the wood chips one time, and that was just a little bit ago, so what, 3 hours in. So that's actually the Masterbuilt. I would have to keep adding wood chips to it, the model that I had anyway. So it actually wasn't too hard. I just cut it off and pulled the little wood chip tray out and dumped them out. So I'm going to say this will probably be done in the next hour or so. I'll just keep a close eye on it at this point. So my bacon's done. It took it right at about 4-ish hours, maybe a little more. But we've hit 150 in the center of the top one, which would be the one that takes the longest to get done since it's on the top. So I know my bottom one's done there. So we're gonna go ahead and get it out. I have loved the window. I think that's also helped with the process because I haven't been opening the door to check the temperature. You know what I mean? It's been
Probably
a closed system. So
you're able to see it without opening the door,
so
letting all the heat out.
We're just gonna, I went ahead and cut it off. And we're gonna get this out.
Don't that look good?
Oh, it smells good.
It does smell good.
This is always the tough part. One piece. And something else I like about this Pit Boss smoker that I saw already is these racks actually have a coating on them. My old smoker didn't. They were just raw metal, pretty much, stainless steel metal, something. These are going to be so much easier to clean because they've got that. So there are our beautiful pieces of bacon.
That is beautiful.
The next step is, I know, I wish y'all had like smell-o-vision.
It smells so good.
So the next step is I'm going to let this just sit out for a little bit, maybe about an hour or so. Let it cool off enough that then I'm going to set it in the refrigerator at least overnight, and we'll get back to you when we go to slice it. So now this is chilled overnight, and this can be sliced with a knife, but we are blessed enough that we have access to a meat slicer. So that's how we go about slicing the bacon.
I think that's going to be right. We always have a hard time
On the first one. This
on
is
the
the
very
first
one that we slice, remembering if we slice it this way or if we slice it that way. And we've done it both ways. I'm not sure that it really matters. Because you got streaks in it like that, and you got streaks in it like that. It's nice. You got that lean streak right there, and then we got some lean up top. Just cut it in half just to make it a little easier to handle. Make this piece come off that little piece.
We've got it all sliced up and nothing to do next but to try it out. So we're going to put some in the frying pan. Now, this homegrown bacon, you've got to cook it slow because it burns super fast and super quick before you even realize it. So cooking it slow and keeping it flipped is your best bet to doing good with your homegrown bacon here.
Yeah, I did get that thin. It just falls apart, don't it?
It's always, this is our first round of the year, so there's always some adjusting needs to be
Yeah,
done.
I think next time we're going to have to go a little bit thicker.
It's really, really good, though.
I mean, I like it thin, but just a little more crumbly when it's thin. Golly, that's so good.
Well, y'all, and that's all it is to making your own bacon at home. This can be done in your refrigerator, or if you have a building outside and it's cold enough where you live, you know, you can do it just like we showed you today. And all in all, it's been about 2 weeks from start to finish. So, from the pig to the pan, there you go.
And man, I'm going to tell you, you ain't going to buy this in the store.
No, not at all.
I could sit there and eat that till I'm sick.
Yeah,
that is so good.
It's about like candy.
It is.
But anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video. Hope you might have learned a little something. And until we see y'all on the next one.
Y'all have a good one.
Have a good one.